AI's working? Okay, this is being recorded. So if you would all stand with me so we can do the pledge. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Right. I would like to take a moment and to introduce Mr. Steve Thaggart of Embrace Home Loans as our lunch sponsor. Steve, come on down.
Thank you. Know that. This is Stephen Thaggart. Thank you.
And I'm Lizanne Livingston.
Lizanne Livingston. I'm the branch manager at Embrace Home Loans. I brought my compadre here, Lizanne, and we are part of the affiliates group here supporting you guys. A few of us are over here at tables 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think. So everybody that's an affiliate, say hi to everybody else. Guys, raise your hands. Chris, my buddy. Anyways, so thanks everybody for being here. I'll be really quick. I'm not here to talk about depressing things like LLPAs, right? Or the fact that the feds are probably going to raise interest rates tomorrow by a quarter. I know. No, actually, what I'm here for is just to, because I hardly get out here, say thank you all. That's each one of you out there in the field for supporting us, for supporting the affiliates at SCAR. We try really hard to make sure that you guys are groomed and look good. And we're always here to support you. And I just want to take a second because I don't know if anybody said this, but thank you for all the support that you give us. Round of applause for you guys. All right. And the last two things I just want to say, Embrace Home Loans this year is celebrating their 40th year in the industry. We're one of the largest privately held lenders in the country. Dennis Hardiman owns the company. He lives over in Tampa. And I want to share one program with you guys real quick that we're offering for conventional buyers. Those are your Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac buyers, right? So if you have a client that wants to put an offer in today's market, we have a program. It's got a cool name, Approved to Move Plus. The Approved to Move simply means we've approved the client. The plus is the best part. That's where we will take that property address, we'll send it up to corporate, we'll run it through 2 AVMs, and we'll come back with a certificate that we accept the value. So if your buyer puts an offer at 510 on a $500,000 house, and they want to put 20% down, I'll send that up. It takes about 30 minutes to come back. And we have a certificate on a piece of paper. It looks really cool that says we will accept the value at no repair on this house at a number. Hopefully it's the 510. If not, it could be the 505 or 495, but at least before you put an offer in, you've got a no appraisal contingency from Embrace. It's for your conventional buyers. And I just want to say thank you all again. That's it.
Oh, and we also,
One more thing.
We also do that on the weekends too. So it's, if you have a buyer that's putting in an offer on the weekend, our corporate offices, we have somebody that we can still send the address to, and they'll tell us whether they'll accept the value or not.
Thanks.
All right. All right. Wow. Thank you. Next up, I'd like to introduce Kim Johnston of Truist as one of our lunch sponsors as well. Kim? There she comes. That's all right. Take your time.
Thank you, everyone, for being here, and for Space Coast Association of Realtors for supporting all of the affiliates as well as all of you. I come here with Truist Bank, a bank that has recently formed from the BB&T and the SunTrust, if you haven't been familiar with that, but all signs went purple about a year ago, even though the merger took much longer. The common goal with Truist Bank is to serve and meet the needs of the community that we all serve together. And so on that note, we do have a lot of different products and services to offer clients. Whether you're a doctor, have a client that's a doctor, or a first-time home buyer, or needing that down payment assistance, we do have products and services to meet those needs. I just want to thank everybody for being here today. And I did put some flyers out on the table. One of them is a community house homeownership incentive product that allows the homeowner to do a 3% down with no private mortgage insurance. It's a really great product. In certain census tracts, it allows them to do that and have no income limit like other home buyer programs do, where it's credit score and income sensitive. The ones in the census tracts in certain communities, and I know just by the property address, they don't have to have an income limit to qualify. And that kind of helps for those, because when you're in that $300,000 price point, your income in a normal product can only be like 65,000. So it really helps to be able to help them qualify for a really great product, even though their income may be a little higher. Thank you so much and enjoy your day.
Okay, I would like to introduce Bill Daniel of Hound Dog Inspections, who was also one of our lunch sponsors. Come on up, Bill.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bill Daniel with Hound Dog Home Inspections. I think there's one more lunch sponsor to go, isn't there? Yeah, it's a big lunch. Well, thanks for having us, and I'm also for those realtors that we currently do business with. Thank you very much, and for all you guys, thanks for showing up. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. Anyways, a little bit about Hound Dog Home Inspections. We've been in business for about 8 years. We do everything that your other home inspectors will do, the regular full home inspections of 4 points and wind mitigations. We also have drones for those roofs that are difficult to walk, and we also have a sewer scope so that when you guys are rather than having to come back out on site to wait for the plumber, we can do everything all at the same time. We're also a licensed mold assessor, so we can evaluate everything pretty much on site while we're there. I'm going to go ahead and let you know, I'm not going to talk about home inspections much longer because I know you guys pretty much are familiar with it. It's a pleasure meeting you all. Y'all enjoy your lunch, and I look forward to working with you all. Have a good day.
Swiss Army knife of home inspectors. And Paul Kemp of Access Title and Closing as our last lunch sponsor. Come on up.
Good afternoon. I'm Paul Kemp. I'm with Access Title and Closing, and we have an office. I have an office right on Merritt Island, Courtney Parkway, and the B line or the Beach line, depending on when you came here. I've been doing closings for about 22 years now, closings and title. Done it. This is my third state, but I'm glad to be here because I'm originally from Central Florida. So this is me getting to come home. And that's something that I think that we all, whether we're Florida natives or whether we're someone that's come in, one of the big things that I think that we do that is probably the most enjoyable for me is dealing with people who are living their dream, whether you're a realtor representing someone whose Florida dream is here, that they're finally able to do it, or whether it's just that step up in the next part of their American dream. I think what we do, all of us, what we do is very rewarding, and I'm glad to be a part of this community. Thank you all so much. I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much. I hope everybody enjoyed lunch. I'd like to introduce at this time Melissa Goldman. She's the chair of the 2023 Space Coast Association of Realtors Government Affairs Committee. Melissa.
Well, good morning. Thank you for coming. We have a great turnout. I love to see that. We all want to know what's going on in our communities. So we have two great speakers today. They both have extensive bios. So I just want to let you know who your mayors are of Palm Bay and Melbourne. So the first up is Mayor Rob Medina. He has been a resident of Palm Bay for more than 33 years, originally from New York. We won't hold that against you. No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot of New Yorkers in here. I am just kidding. I'm just kidding. I can't, you don't want to know where I'm from. So, anyway, jokes aside. Mayor Medina chose to settle in Palm Bay after proudly serving with the United States Marine Corps. A servant leader through God, honor, and integrity, Mayor Medina pledges to build public trust with the community by presiding over an open and accessible government in service to citizens of the great city of Palm Bay. Medina holds a Master's of Arts degree in theology, graduating magna cum laude from Life Christian University. He serves as the Director of Ministry at the House Family Ministries Church in Palm Bay. Mayor Medina is happily married with his wife Lizette, He's a father of six children. Yes, and the grandfather of 10. So as a Palm Bay resident, Medina has long been an active supporter of the community, serving as a youth mentor, as well as a football and baseball coach. In addition to his roles in the city of Palm Bay and the House Family Ministries, Medina serves as the Director of Community and Military Relations for United States Congressman Bill Posey. Through his work, Medina has played an integral role, there we go, in obtaining official recognitions and awards such as the Congressional Gold Medal, U.S. Army 65th Infantry Regiment, the Bronze Star Medal, and the Purple Heart Medal for local veterans who displayed notable heroic and meritorious achievement of service during their time in the armed forces. In 2019, Medina was honored with his second Congressional Medal of Recognition for his longstanding service to the veteran community. Mayor Medina also served as an aide to former Brevard County Commissioner Jackie Colon from 2000 to 2008. While working with the commissioner, he built a strong foundation in local governance and developed a deep understanding of the issues that have the greatest impact on the economic success and quality of life of the residents of Palm Bay. So without further ado, Mayor Medina.
Testing 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? So good afternoon. Listen, I get excited, so I hope you entertain me as well. I'm an interactive speaker. How's everybody doing? Listen, before I get started, I just have to share my heart with each and every one of you. How your industry goes, that's how our nation goes. What you provide to the average citizen is critical. You give us an opportunity for wealth, success, and prosperity to not only our families, but to the families that come after us, our children and our children's children. I do have an update. I'm the grandfather of 13. And yes, I did start very young. My son, who is a product of the Marine Corps, just recently had his number 5. 5 children, and he recently purchased a new house thanks to each and every one of you that had made that possible. You know, it's critical to recognize the value that you are to our local economy and our families. I know you go about your business. I realize that this is how you pay your bills, but don't take it lightly. You're impacting lives. You're providing an opportunity that otherwise no one else will. You have worked with people that have lower than regular credit, and you've given them an opportunity for prosperity. And I think that is impeccable, and you should all be recognized for that. So thank you. I am honored and blessed to represent and be the mayor of the greatest city on the face of the earth. Listen, don't be shy. If you feel that your city is the greatest, then speak it. You see, I believe that my words have power. They are spiritual capsules, and I am a creative being. So even though it hasn't manifest yet, I say the city of Palm Bay is the greatest city on the face of the earth. Y'all understand that? That is who represents Palm Bay. I am honored and blessed that God chose me to be mayor of Palm Bay. So without further ado, I'm going to start with a slide. I'm honored to share this information with you. And make no mistake about it, I want to equip you to be successful, because as you succeed, our city succeeds, and moreover, our families succeed. Oh my gosh, how you doing? Oh, great to see you. It is, it is. You know, you guys create such a wonderful industry. And I'd be remiss if I don't say how hard you've worked and how hard I know that you've worked impacting so many families in our local city. So thank you. And you too, Chris. You make things happen for people that otherwise wouldn't have that opportunity. And that's how I feel about each and every one of you. One thing about the mayor of Palm Bay is that I'm transparent. I will tell you, I will let you know, I'm a man of God first, that was chosen to be mayor of the greatest city on the face of the earth, and I'm not ashamed to say it. So as we see here, over the last several years, the city has completed the following studies. We've done a Palm Bay vision study, comprehensive plan. We've also increased the salary of all our employees. And I think that's critical, because not only do we affect families, but we retain the best of the best. And not only do we give them an opportunity to be successful with their families, but it creates that camaraderie in Palm Bay that has long been missed. That is important to me. So the city's actually been hard at work. As I mentioned, we'll go to slide 3. As a result of Palm Bay's strategic plan, the city will set out to complete several master plan studies over the next 5 years. We're talking roads, stormwater, utilities, park, public safety, sidewalks. Moving on, the city recently completed that comprehensive plan update, adopting a future land use element. A final adoption of the remaining elements anticipated in July. We just recently had a meeting last night, and we covered about what we're doing that's different. We are really excited on the makeup of what Palm Bay is going to be in the future. So look at these urban multi-use opportunities for our city. Commercial, residents. Most of you know what I'm talking about. You're from up north. And so we're trying to bring that type of density into our city as well. With that, city staff have been identifying key future growth corridors for future land use, rezoning, recommendations by the Economic Development Strategic Plan, strategically creating nodes for commercial and industrial activity. Isn't that something? How many of you commercial realtors? By show of hands. Can you just raise your hands one more time? I want to see commercial realtors. I got a command for you. Palm Bay is only 63 years old, and we're working hard for incentives for our commercial. We need more commercial. So your command is to bring that commercial to Palm Bay. Hoorah! So we're going to go on side fly. City staff have been hard at work attracting new businesses to include exciting advanced technologies. Listen, I don't know how many of you knew me during the campaign. One of my missions has been to bring semiconductor, that type of industry, back to the city of Palm Bay. I believe in that industry. I believe we're about to go back to the moon. And we're about to go back to Mars, right? Or go to Mars. We can't do that without technology. the semiconductor industry creates business opportunities for families. And so I'm proud to say that Rogue Valley Micro Devices is coming to Palm Bay. They're going to invest $25 million and create an infrastructure of up to 100 jobs in that new infrastructure that they're building in Palm Bay or remodeling it. So what does that mean to you? More business, more opportunities, right? So is L3 Harris. They have two projects, LEO and SAM-T, same type of industry. So they're about to grow right where Harris is today. Slide 6. As existing industry is crucial to the economic stability of our city, staff continues to work on growing and expanding local businesses such as BRP USA, Giant Recreation World, and our Palm Bay Hospital. The next slide will show the city maintains key incentives programs, inducement programs to grow and attract new industry to Palm Bay. Scan the QR code to learn more about our city's programs and get in touch. You commercial folks, scan that QR code. I want you to see what we're trying to do to not only refurbish our facades, but to have businesses come and do business in the greatest city on the face of the earth. Isn't that right? The greatest city on the face of the earth. Don't you want to come do business with us? Listen, I told you from the beginning, I'm an interactive speaker. If you guys want me to walk out, you're doing a fine job of me just walking out if you guys aren't going to have exchange with me. Do you understand? Hoorah. That's the military in me, by the way. And something about your tax dollars too. The reason I can't stand behind that podium is because your hard-earned tax dollars trained me to be a difficult target. And sitting behind that podium would make me, so I always have to be transitioning, right? Slide number 8, along with new development projects across the city, we're witnessing key development projects, primarily along the bayfront on US 1. The city has awarded 3 commercial facade improvement grants totaling $59,000. Did I mention our facade improvement program? You guys are supposed to generating 2.27 in private investment for every $1 that's incentivized. In addition, several major redevelopment projects in various phases include the redevelopment of the former city marina, a mixed-use development project along Orange Blossom Trail, which includes a hotel, multifamily, and retail. Isn't that going to be lovely on US 1 in Palm Bay? Well, I can't wait for that to happen. I've been waiting on Bay to Beth for 33 years. Did I tell you I've been a Palm Bayer for 33 years? But let me just share a little bit about the history of Palm Bay. For those of you that don't know, Palm Bay for a long time, the leaders wanted it to remain a bedroom community. And as a young man, probably about your age back then, I discussed with the former mayors back then, how can we sustain ourselves? They didn't have that foresight. They wanted all the businesses to go to Melbourne, and then the residents could come to Palm Bay. Well, I say no. That's unsustainable. So since I've been elected, we've been working hard with our administration to change that bedroom community stigma. And I'm proud to say that in just 2 short years, we're making a huge change. And I commend our city manager, I commend our staff, because they see the passion about the growth of our city. Did you know that Palm Bay is the largest population city in our county? Did y'all, how many knew that? Do you know what that population is? All right, I'll take 3 guesses. Somebody yell out one. Oh, you had the, who said that? Oh, that's not fair, Nancy. No one would have guessed it, but Nancy had to ruin it. We're at 131,000 residents. That is astronomical growth that we didn't even see it. So the redevelopment of two sites, the former Florida Tech facility and the Celebration Square, are also slated for future mixed use. And we've approved that. So it's about when the developer starts kicking that in. Number 9, the city continues to implement electronic permit and plan submittals using IMS software. In March, we completed phase 2, integration for residents and commercial site plans. So we're doing what we can to expedite those plans, code complaints, business tax receipts applications, and renewals. We're looking at ways to streamline and do business with you as quickly as possible. It's no secret the city's growing at an unprecedented rate. Major growth is occurring in the northwest section, which is where I live, and the southeast quadrants of Palm Bay. With nearly 10,000 new residential units planned across the city, staff is completing traffic and stormwater studies, seeking to address infrastructure improvements triggered as a result of new development to ensure that developers are paying their fair share. Commercial permits continue to increase year over year. We ended fiscal year 2022 with over 2,500 permits. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? New commercial construction valued at guess how much? $793 million. Not bad for a city of only 131,000 residents. If you put that into perspective, you'll see that we're on the move and we're rising. We're creating opportunities in the city of Palm Bay, but we can't do it without you. Fiscal year 2022, the city issued over 13,600 residential permits valued at $961 million. That's amazing. And to date, the city has issued over 6,700 residential permits valued at $539 million. The next slide is going to show how this growth started. Our citizens decided to invest in our roads. And so the city continues to invest in new infrastructure projects, completing 43% of the Gold Roads paving program, which is the necessary expansion of utilities plan for the South Regional Parks, South Regional Utilities Plan. Let me talk a little bit about that. We've been delayed because of the supply chain issues that we have. I'm being real out there, but we're still keeping it on track. It should come up sometime in 2024. It should have been by this year, but we're on track for 2024. South Regional Parks, improvements and continued funding and land dedication for future fire and police stations. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for the opportunity to share my heart, share what Palm Bay is all about, to share my heart in thanking you for everything that you do for our community. Yes, you put food on your dinner table. But what's important to recognize, and I can't say this enough, is the opportunity that you give to families by your hard work and dedication. I am proud to live not only in Palm Bay, but this county has some of the hardest working, dedicated professionals I've ever encountered, other than the United States Marine Corps. Hoorah. May God bless you. Well, no, I guess you may have some questions, so I can entertain a.
If you have a question, please go up to the podiums because we are recording this and we want to make sure everybody can hear you. So if you could run up to the podiums, that would be great. And then we'll field any questions that they have. I know you guys have some. Can you go up to the podium, please? I know realtors don't like to listen. Is it not on?
I don't think it's on.
What?
I don't even know. Can you guys hear me? Is this? on?
Woohoo. Hello, I'm Gus Marine.
Gus?
Hello, Mayor. I just have a quick question. I would like to know, what's the time frame for completion of the Heritage Parkway?
That's a good question. Are you referring to the south part of Heritage
sir.
Parkway? Man, we're a long way from there, buddy, but unfortunately, I don't see it happening within the next few years. But we are identifying it with the Space Coast Transportation Organization. But you're right, once that gets aligned, I do know that on the southern tip for where we're at, we're having developers continue that corridor to a certain point as they continue to build out there.
So are they planning to finish the Blue Lagoon that's supposed to be?
That's another great question. So that developer regarding the Blue Lagoon just recently sold to another developer. Whether they keep those plans or not, those are property rights issues. However, that being said, they are going to try to move up the timetable. Now, keep in mind, there's no infrastructure out there, so the quicker we could get infrastructure out there, the first ones are gonna make it where we could give them credits so that others can come after them. But the good news is they're looking forward to moving that process along a lot quicker than where we've been.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you. Next
Hello.
question?
What is the status of the golf course at Bayside Lakes?
Oh.
And, did I push a nerve? Did I push a nerve?
Praise the Lord.
And
Do you know the history of man, I gotta share my heart. Can I share my heart about this? Because I'm gonna share my heart with this. The developer that developed the Bayside Lakes area, I thought he was spot on. He created a majors golf course. But let me share a little bit about, and I'm not a golfer, I'm a baseball guy, right? But let me share a little bit about what was created there. That is an Arnold Palmer planned golf course. Arnold Palmer will never design another golf course like that. The owner of that facility has not kept it up. They decided to close it down. Those are property rights issues. The owner has not sold it to anyone. We've been working to see if that dialogue can ensue, where they would want to sell it. But right now, there is no golf course. Do I wish there was a golf course there? Absolutely. I hope that answers your question, man.
there are no, I guess, plans for another developer to purchase it and change the zoning of it?
Well, nothing has come before council. I could just tell you publicly that the mayor has consistently voted to keep rural residential within that density. And that could be a quasi judicial matter that comes before council. But I can tell you the historic voting of the mayor, I would love to see that as a golf course. However, I can't force a property owner what to do with their property. They have the right to do what they want with that property.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it's not trying to be a smart aleck here, but I don't remember the number you quoted for the commercial applications or permit rather.
Okay.
With that, what is the percentage or what percentage of that amount is for Dollar Generals?
Say that again. What percentage of the commercial?
Car washes.
Of DGs? Of DGs? You know, That's good. I think I'll have the city manager get those numbers. But, you know, part of the response to that, I speak of property rights, and if we're zoned a certain commercial neighborhood, commercial as an example, they have the right to build what they want on their property. And so I do know that in the city of Palm Bay, they are are identified as food deserts, right? And if a business owner sees an opportunity where he's going to make a profit, isn't that the American dream? That's the American way of life. Government overreach is something I will not, I can tell you this right now, I will not be part of government overreach. I should never be able to tell you how to do your business. Ever. Does that answer your question, Mr. DG? Any other questions?
I got one.
Mayor Medina, thank you for all that you do. As a Realtor who shows homes in Palm Bay, specifically Southwest Palm Bay, I would like to express my gratitude for having the roads paved. It really, yeah.
So I appreciate those comments, but I really want to give credit to where the credit is due. The Palm Bayers made a decision. We are not going to tolerate these roads the way they were. Where we deserve the recognition is we've listened and we're moving forward. Now, keep in mind, petroleum has gone up. Supply chain issues have gone up. The economy prices have gone up. So there are huge challenges that our council have to be faced with now because of that. But we're going to continue to make those changes, to do what we can for the commitment that the people bestowed upon us. It is important. It is crucial. It is our responsibility to make sure, to make certain that we honor their vote. You'll always have a mayor in Palm Bay, again, if I'm elected again, that believes in empowering the people. Never doing things against the will of the people and protecting them at every step of the way. Listen, if that's the last question, I'd like to end with this. Oh, there's one more.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, how far are we on the Emerald City project? I must have,
Say that again, dear?
Emerald City?
Yeah, the question was, it was the same question.
Is it the
that-
same?
that he
Oh, I
came
didn't
up.
even know it
So
was the same.
Emerald City, the lagoon,
Mhm.
right, that he discussed. So the actual original owners, the original planners of that, they sold it to another developer.
Right, okay.
And so they will do their property rights issues. But I will say this, and I didn't share with the other gentleman. Those plans, I keep in my credenza at the mayor's office. I have, and I'm going to be transparent with you, I have taken those plans and I've rolled them on my desk. I have laid hands on them and I've prayed over those plans because I believe that's the growth of our city. Not only that, but as pastors come, I have them lay hands on it too and pray with me. And that's the person that I am. I believe in those. However, I don't know how that lagoon process is still going to be in place. But Emerald City, they have a new developer, and I am confident that they want to move that process right along quickly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey,
Yes,
Mayor
ma'am.
Medina. I kind of like to know what you got, what the city's doing about, and also the city of Melbourne. If any kind of allowance is going to be made for any kind of tiny home communities. we've got a serious problem with seniors not having a place to live, not being able to find affordable housing. People's spouses have died. Now they're at a really restricted income and they can't find a place to live.
Yeah, you know, that's an excellent question. I can tell you that in the city of Palm Bay, and I'll have Ms. Sherman address this as well if she like, but we're ahead of the times. We have an ordinance that addresses tiny homes. I recently had a conversation, I don't want to mention any names, but this individual has a heart for veterans. As we all know, some veterans come home with different challenges and they may be homeless. His idea is to have a village, kind of like in Colorado, where they have a veteran community of tiny homes and a mental health component to that community. I commend him. We do have that type of ordinance in place. And while I'm on that, we've also worked ahead of the times with low impact development ordinances. Madam Sherman, did you want to come up to the podium and just share a little bit about that? Since the question has to do with tiny homes, I want to also address the LID opportunity.
Okay, and maybe also ADUs, like if we've got a big enough property, could we put an ADU on it to bring, one of our parents to not live in the home because they don't want to live in our homes with their kids, but they want to live on the property? It's a problem.
Thank you. No, great questions. Just to echo what the mayor said, we absolutely have been working to make our restrictions more beneficial for those who want to build, whether it's an ADU, something additional in your backyard, build an entire community. I won't belabor the point, but I would just say, if you know of anyone that actually wants to do any of those things, just come see me afterward. I'll give you my business card. We can talk. There's a lot of different nuances to the different ordinances that we've been changing in recent years. And I just want to make sure that you have the right information. The mayor mentioned low impact development. So we are trying to incentivize builders as they're interested in doing so, in changing the way that we look at how we deal with stormwater. So moving away from a traditional just build a pond and let the water go there, but doing things that are more creative, more beneficial, that actually provide greater treatment. Our goal in that is to not make it a stick, but more of a carrot. So there are incentives. For example, you're building a commercial building and you do some of these low impact development type of strategies, you can get more parking spaces as an example. But that's something also, if you're interested in more information, I'd be happy to share with you as well. Come see me at the end and I'll give you my business card. Anything else, sir?
No, carry on, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm good.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mayor and everyone. I noticed when you're talking about the population of Palm Bay and the growth, and I congratulate you and the town of Palm Bay for that. But are you doing anything for public transportation? I didn't see that in your infrastructure plan. I see road improvement, but I don't, and you did mention the cost of fuel going up. It would be great if we could add public transportation, an increase in options for that in the infrastructure plan.
So let me qualify that question. When you say public transportation, are you talking about bus routes? 'Cause
Not
we
just
don't
bus
have
routes,
subway
are we
systems, right?
planning any kind of like light rail? Or I know that there had been plans before for a light rail from Miami to Jacksonville and Orlando, but what is happening with that? Are there going to be any stops along the way? Is that still happening?
So are you talking about the rail system?
Yes.
Okay, so I do know that they're looking at a stop. And I think right now we're all poised for Cocoa. Would I prefer to have it in Palm Bay? That's why I'm working on a bayfront destination, right? That's exactly
Okay.
what I'd love to see, is that we create that bayfront population, make it a destination, right? Where people could stop, we could party a little bit, maybe stay in a hotel and then go back on the rail. We don't have other input than that to try and create that destiny. I do know that they're looking at Cocoa or Port Canaveral in that area. When you talk about other railways, as an example, like the bus system, is that?
Bus system, any type of, even like tram systems. It just seems like there are more environmentally aware or environmentally conscious options out there. And, you know, with everyone being in the Sunshine State, taking advantage of solar is kind of a no-brainer, right? So are we doing something that can help improve the environment as far
Yeah,
as
that's
our
a great
transportation
question.
goes?
That's a great question, and I'm gonna give it up to Susan, but I know that we're working on with the Space Coast Area Transit regarding bus routes, increasing that capacity within our city borders. But right along, when you talk about the environment, I would be remiss if I don't talk about the Indian River Lagoon.
Please do. I'm gonna have
I-
a seat because I
I
know
would
this is
be
gonna be,
remiss if I
good.
don't, if I don't share with you what the city of Palm Bay has implemented since I became mayor of that city. We have had the opportunity to get nutrient filtering baffle boxes. In other words, to
The
stop the
aerobic
muck from
systems.
going into the lagoon. And so we've got 3 that are under construction and we have 6 more en route. So I'm really excited. That was another campaign promise I made and it's coming to fruition and I'm really
Congratulations to
excited.
you and all of Palm Bay then.
I'm
Thank
really
you.
excited about that. But Madam Chairman, can you just share a little bit about the transportation?
Just briefly, we are actively working with Brevard County to expand bus routes in the city. Actually, we are taking a page from Melbourne's book because one of the things they've done is they've used state, federal funding to expand the routes and provide more opportunities for folks, especially those with lower income. So we're working on that. We are also actively working on a project to expand the bus route infrastructure. So making areas ADA compatible, also improving just what's out there. Some spots, unfortunately, are just a sign and there's nothing else. So improving connection to sidewalks and providing shelters and things like that. That's all underway. Additionally, recently council gave us direction to look at some additional components of ride sharing type of companies that are out there beyond what we all know about commonly like Uber and things like that. But there's some other things that we're exploring too that might be helpful to our residents. So more to come, but we are working on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I had 2 questions. As a Palm Bayer, rumor has it we may have a Buc-ee's coming into town. Is that true?
What did you say? You're not a Palm Bayer?
I am a Palm Bayer.
Hoorah, thank you.
I've lived there since 2006.
Outstanding.
So
You know, we're working not only on Buc-ee's, but we're working on different community business partners. Just because Viera says they're gonna get a Buc-ee's doesn't mean we're gonna stop. We have a great opportunity at that southern interchange of St. John's Heritage Parkway. I'd love to see that. I don't know, for those of you that never been to Buc-ee's, that place is unbelievable. How many of you have been to a Buc-ee's? That is talk about job creations, and they have good paying jobs. So we would love a Buc-ee's, but I wish I could announce Buc-ee's has signed a contract to come to Palm Bay. I
okay.
can't do that.
Well, my second question is, are you guys planning on doing anything with the compound? Because
Say that again.
are y'all planning on doing anything about the compound?
So the question is the compound. How many of you know about the compound issue? The short answer is yes, I want to do something about the compound. As many of you, there's thousands of property owners all across the globe. But what council has just recently given direction to our staff is, hey, we have to start and police ourselves. So we have property there. Let's see what we can do with our property so that we could begin to create an infrastructure where other businesses can come. Did you want to touch a little bit on that?
The only other thing I'll add is just the initial steps that we're taking beyond what the mayor mentioned is we're also looking at land use and zoning changes. There are 3 main corridors that lead into the compound. We're looking at ways we can develop those areas first. And we are, because it is one of council's priorities, looking at mixed use and commercial development as the priorities for those areas to start the growth of the compound.
Isn't that exciting? Mixed use and urban development. And so council, thank you for that question, by the way, ma'am, because council has already, I think we're all in agreement that something has to be done. in particular, whether it's commercial, light industrial. I believe in job creation. I really do. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, it's long been rumored that an amusement park is going to be coming to Palm Bay.
Yeah.
What is the status of that rumor?
I haven't heard that rumor. I actually heard that rumor back in the 90s.
I heard it recently, like 2 years ago.
I don't know anything about that. Have you heard? I haven't heard an amusement park. But I'll tell you this. Everything should be on the table, right? I believe in job creation. I believe everything should be on the table. I do like, and again, I'm a baseball guy, and I'll share this with you. Brevard County had a minor league baseball team back in the day, right? They were the Florida Manatees. They created jobs and they created excitement during spring training. Today, that is USA Baseball or USSSA, right? It's like have you seen what they've done? Every week, you have families from all over the state outside coming in to fill our hotel rooms, coming in to spend their money in our sandwich shops, in our grocery stores, everywhere. That spruces up the economy. So if someone wants to come in and invest and build a baseball stadium, hey, I want to hear about it. I'm just all about creating opportunity and prosperity for our residents and for our local economy. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, I want to share my heart again. Truly believe in what you're doing. I end with this. May God bless you. May God keep you. May God continue to shine his face upon you and give you peace. And I declare it in the name above all names, in Jesus' mighty name. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor Medina, for coming in and taking all of our questions. And all of the slides and all of the slides that are coming up are going to go out on our Friday newsletter that you get. So I know some of you are snapping pictures and stuff. So I want to make sure that everybody gets that. So our whole membership will get it when that comes out in the newsletter. So up next, Paul Alfrey is the mayor of the city of Melbourne. He was elected to serve as mayor in 2020 after serving as vice mayor and council member representing Melbourne's District 5. He was first elected to the Melbourne City Council in 2016. His current term as mayor ends in 2024. Mayor Alfrey is also a member of the Melbourne Orlando International Airport Authority Board and the Melbourne Affordable Housing Board. Mayor Alfrey is an entrepreneur and Melbourne multiple small business owner as a Florida certified contractor, home inspector, and insurance agent. So there you go. Mayor Alfrey served as a law enforcement officer, including 3 years at the Sanford Police Department and 12 years at the Melbourne Police Department, retiring in 2012. He served as a canine officer, street crimes officer, community policing officer, and a field training officer. He received dozens of awards and commendations, including Officer of the Month several times. In 2010, he and his Melbourne canine named Pharaoh were credited with achieving over 100 criminal suspect apprehensions. Prior to serving our community, Mayor Alfrey served in the United States Coast Guard as a rescue swimmer and maritime law enforcement officer aboard Brevard's own U.S. Coast Guard cutter. These sentences are way too long for me. U.S. Coast Guard cutter Confidence and Station Miami Beach. Woo. Mayor Alfrey is very active in our community, serving as a committee member for the Brevard County Sheriff's Office Pet Posse. Notable achievements including making the Brevard animal shelters no-kill shelters. As vice mayor and District 5 council member, Paul spearheaded the Melbourne and Agali Pelock dog parks, which we helped with the parks there. There are several, and then now we have one coming up in Cocoa Beach, hopefully. As vice mayor and I passed it already. He is also an assistant basketball coach for the congressionally recognized Brevard County Sheriff's Officer Enforcers. He received the Space Coast Public Safety Hall of Fame Award for making a difference in our community, a notable achievement for working with dozens of local charities, including as a construction captain for the Space Coast Field of Dreams Community Build and volunteer contractor for Nana's House Children's Home that aids neglected, needy, and abused or abandoned children in our community. So please welcome Mayor Alfrey.
Yes, can you hear me all right? I've got to go after Mayor Medina. That's tough. I will tell you, you won't find a mayor that loves his city more than Mayor Medina. And he loves his city. They make me go after him because I got to hear 37 times how Palm Bay is the greatest city on the face of the earth. And I think they do that purposely to just, you know, at least it's not a drinking game, because if it was, I'd be out there laying on the floor. But anyway, normally what I like to do, I like to keep it interactive. I like to kind of go right off the cusp and answer your question, tell you about the city of Melbourne. Now, I'm very honored and blessed to be the mayor of the city of Melbourne, the #1 city on the face of the earth. So, yeah, he left the room for a reason. You can tell that. He left the room for a reason. So, and you know, Mayor Medina and I are both in our first terms. And when you become mayor, you have all these challenges to a city. Palm Bay has different challenges than Melbourne. You hear Mayor Medina say, you know, he's been in Palm Bay for 33 years. He's seen a lot of changes. Well, my father worked for GDC back in the late 70s. Okay, if anybody doesn't know what GDC is, that's the General Development Corporation. My dad was a roofing contractor back before you needed licenses, before you even had business cards. And he was back there in the late 70s. And I remember when he got laid off when they went defunct. But so I know Palm Bay, and I've got uncles that still live there and aunts. And matter of fact, Palm Bay is an amazing city. And again, they have challenges, but I'm confident with who they have. And Ms. Sherman, she's an amazing city manager over the city of Palm Bay. They're definitely leading in the right direction. But their biggest problem is the city of Melbourne, because that's where you want to be. Okay? So I'm going to give an update, kind of go over some of the things. I got a couple quick videos for you. Let's start out. Economic development. We all love our economic development. It brings jobs, puts food on our table. I love my realtors. You think about the RPAC, and like I said before, the RPAC, everybody that the RPAC endorsed got elected. The power is in this room. And it's not just that. You know, I remember when I had a crazy idea a few years ago, and I said, you know what, I want to raise some money and build some dog parks. And I reached out to a few people, and Mark Pylock said, let's do it. And I got a hold of realtors. Realtors said, we're all in. And not only just through funding, but dozens and dozens of volunteers picking up paint from the landfill. Everything's recycled that we used in there. So again, I love my realtors, and I love the group, you're amazing. And again, what you do in this community, even recently when we were doing water baffle box projects, the realtors, they were part of it with funding. So moving forward, Margaritaville. Coming to Melbourne, not Palm Bay. He's still not in the room, is he? So this is a project that we kind of looked at a few years ago. We had the old marina. If you've been around Melbourne, it was just an old marina. It's run down. And fortunately, through development, we attracted this development. Kind of give you a little idea, we're looking about maybe the end of next year of grand opening. Right now, pretty amazing on some of the engineering and the low impact development. Right now, what they're doing is working on all the boardwalks. You'll start seeing probably in the next few months, you'll start seeing some of the hotels going vertical. So all the infrastructure is being done right now. It's an amazing project. If you can see some of that. The low impact development is allowing, when you'll go out there, you'll actually see some of the fish, the birds, and we're trying to bring back the lagoon the way it was when I was a kid here. I grew up on Sherwood Park out there off Post. I used to go and swim in the lagoon, and I was more worried about the grass and the fish and stepping on oysters. That we need to get back there. I mean, our lagoon is critical to our survival and our livelihood in Brevard County. So that's kind of some more of the pictures of what you're looking at. You have all the storm water will be held on the property. They're making the big chambers under the parking garages. It's going to be an amazing project. And of course, he's waiting for food, of course, right? So Lacuna Beach. Coming to Melbourne, not Palm Bay. So I spoke to the developer this morning. All we're waiting on right now is some FAA clearance. We're selling the property. I am on the, like we said before, I'm on the Airport Authority Board. It's all been approved. And right now you're looking around, I think it's around 55 acres, commercial development, residential development. What happens is when you're part of the FAA and you have airport property, you can't do any residential. Residential and airplanes don't go hand in hand. So once we get the FAA approval, which we expect maybe another 2 months or something, they're going to move forward to this. So now I'm going to try to hit play. It allows me to hit play. They got me. They told me it worked.
I don't see the little push thing.
No push? Okay, did it come through?
Hey, no play button.
Okay, then we'll have to just, we don't have that. Go back.
Oh, I think that's forward. Wait,
There we go.
hold on.
Remember, they assured me this worked, so.
Well, you have to have a play button to play.
Mayor Medina may have taken it off.
Lindsay? No. Hey.
Hey. No luck there? There it goes. There you go. Back up, back up. Yeah, pull out of that and then hit the play button.
From there.
There we go.
Maybe.
Welcome to Lacuna Beach by Adelon Capital in Melbourne, Florida. Melbourne is located in Brevard County, and it's a great place to live and a great place to work. With top-notch K-12 schools and world-class college offerings, it's also a great place to grow up and go to school. Brevard County is becoming a world-class tourist destination for people visiting from all around the world. Miles of pristine beaches, the natural beauty of the Indian River Lagoon, a thriving space industry, golf, great food, and entertainment. The experience here is very different from other Florida counties. New entertainment and recreational offerings on the Space Coast should continue to deliver a special kind of visitor experience, but also align with the area's high standards of livability. Adelon Capital is committed to this value and is very pleased to be offering Brevard County an exciting new project called Lacuna Beach, with the innovative and eco-friendly technology patented by Crystal Lagoons. This one-of-a-kind project will offer the unique experience of crystal clear turquoise beaches, a family-friendly water play area, and entertainment experiences for all to enjoy. The Lacuna Beach development will also provide hundreds of much-needed multifamily Class A housing units near downtown Melbourne. There will also be ample space for retail, shopping, dining, and more. Located near the Melbourne Orlando International Airport, Lacuna Beach, powered by Crystal Lagoon, will be eco-friendly, using a patented and innovative water treatment technology that operates on a closed circuit and does not discharge to the environment. Lacuna Beach by Adelon. We'll see you soon.
Okay, so kind of give you an idea, and speaking to Adelon Capital, they're still working on the plans, how this is going to be built. It's going to be multiple with commercial spaces, residential spaces, a place for the kids, a place for almost like a mini city walk where you'll be able to go, take a walk or stroll in the evening. Going to have small shops for vendors. It's going to be a really nice project right there. It's going to be near the airport. So I'm very excited on that project and what it brings. It's going to bring jobs. It's going to bring entertainment, and it's right close to home. So the commercial and residential real estate will definitely benefit from this project. So that's only one. That's one of many. So Indian River Lagoon projects. You know, one of the things I said when my campaign promise was Indian River Lagoon project. And we all talked about it, but Melbourne, we lead the county right now on lagoon-related projects. Now you talk about baffle boxes. I know Palm Bay is doing amazing work with the baffle boxes. Right now, I think we're pushing nearly 20. And we'll move forward a little bit. Right now, Melbourne will soon begin the construction of another baffle box. I think this is like 18 or 19. That will provide drainage treatment for approximately 155 acres of property. Kind of give you this one that we're just starting now. We just finished one, but it's about $1.1 million. And if everybody knows what a baffle box does, okay. So you think about the lagoon, and I always say all streams lead to the lagoon. Everything that gets, if it rains, water cleans the street, but where does that go? A lot of that stuff goes to the lagoon. And the way things were developed many years ago was the whole area, everything, it was just funneled down toward the lagoon. And many, many years of just sediment, cups, bottles, nitrogen, phosphorus, everything just heading to the lagoon. No wonder it's a wreck. But what we do now is right before everything will get to the lagoon, what a baffle box kind of looks like. And this is a second generation baffle box. So if you were to see the water go in dirty, when it comes out, it looks like you can drink and it's clean. And that goes in the lagoon. So what it does is the first chambers pick up the trash, garbage. Our staff goes, opens it up, cleans everything out. And then even after a storm, leaves, everything. It's amazing what you'll see in there. And then it gets filtered, the nitrogen and the phosphorus, that gets filtered, and when it goes out to the lagoon, it's clean water. So we've been installing these for quite a few years now, and they're amazing. They're definitely they're part of the solution for the lagoon. Now, one thing you'll see in Melbourne, we see a lot of projects going on. This is one recently last week I went over to, but this is the Restore Our Shores with the Brevard Zoo. I'm a big fan of the Brevard Zoo and what they do for the conservation of our area. If you go over O'Galley Causeway, you'll a lot of times see big stacks of oysters. Those are all donated in. And basically what the volunteers do is they open them up, they put live oysters, they put them together, and they go put them out and they make artificial reefs out in the lagoon. And most people don't realize one of those, just one, will filter about 50 gallons of water a day. Imagine that. 50 gallons of water just for one of a day. That's all they do, they filter, they clean. So that's huge. And we're doing that in Melbourne as just one of the many steps for our lagoon project. Now, something that I decided a few years ago, property cleanups. I changed the way the city of Melbourne did things. Is I've seen, you would say, zombie houses, and that is an official term. Basically, you see a house that's been sitting there that drives all the neighbors crazy. You know, it's got junk cars, there's people living in it. may have no water, no electric. We had one that's been in foreclosure for about 20 years. 20, imagine living next to that for 20 years. Needles, everything, bringing down the neighborhood property value. And I know you realtors go, look, I'm going to take this client, but we're going to go down a different street because I don't want you to see that right there. I say none of that in Melbourne. To give you an idea of what we did, I said, look, city attorney, we're going to change it. We're going to sue the banks to force the foreclosure so we can get it in the private hands. And we started doing that. We've been forcing these, and kind of give you an example. And this is just under the bridge, cleaning up some stuff under the bridge. Now, I will say, disclosure, when we go there, we bring people with to talk to people there. Hey, do you need help? Social services. I'm a veteran. Mayor Medina is a veteran. We have many veterans in here. It's important to us because my goal is to have a lifeline for people to get back on their feet. You know, we all have to live together. Has to be accountability as well. So these are just some of the cleanup. This was actually one of the houses I went in the yard, and just on my social media, I had about 115,000 social media views. So that was the fire that happened. That house, it was terrible. But you're looking on the side. Boarded up and cleaned up. Now it's on MLS. So that's the whole idea. To get these properties cleaned up so people can live and enjoy their neighborhood. Can't do that without a great law enforcement. One thing that the voters, and I thank the voters out there, is we decided to build a new law enforcement center. This is the Joseph Pelicano Law Enforcement Center. And this is a new law enforcement center that was approved by the voters back in 2018. And this is being built, and we expect it to be done next year. And this is kind of an overview, the training field right off NASA. So that's going to be coming to Melbourne as well. State-of-the-art building, puts all of our people together. Give you a little bit of the update as sitting on the authority board for the Melbourne Orlando International Airport. We have an amazing airport. You know, getting on the airport, I hear a lot of people saying, we want more flights. We don't want to go over to Orlando. We want to hop on here. So we've been doing that. Well, you can't do that if you don't have an updated airport. For example, if you were to see, before everything became digital on this $72 million upgrade, if you were to go to a ticket booth, everything was plastic Delta. Now, digital, you hit a button and you can turn it into Allegiant in minutes. So that attracts the carriers, because why else would the carriers want to fly out if it's not clean, digital, accessible? So right now, the Melbourne Orlando International Airport just completed the $72 million expansion and upgrading, added 86,000 square feet to our airport. And if we could we'll run this video as well. Video. And this is actually our executive director, Greg Donovan, kind of explaining a little bit on the airport expansion and what it looks like. So if you were to go to the airport now, this is what you'll see.
I'm Greg Donovan. I'm the executive director at the Melbourne Orlando International Airport. Our new expansion of their terminal facilities here is about $72 million. It was funded entirely with airport funds for transportation-specific grants. We added about 86,000 square feet to the facility. That include a welcome center, a much improved passenger screening checkpoint, hold areas, and concessions. All the amenities here are really meant to show the very best of coastal casual, Central Florida, beaches, our community, our technological space programs, and all those things. And so whether it's the services received here or the design of the facility, it's meant to be modern. It's made to increase efficiency and also give that really good first impression to people that are just coming here for the very first time.
Well, if you were to think about the airport now, when you go there, it's amazing. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's attracting new flights. If everybody is familiar with, we'll move forward to TUI. You've seen the TUI flight, the big blue plane. We're looking to have about
I'm Greg Donovan.
250,000 passengers a year just from TUI. You know, I met with the TUI executives last year and I said, you know, I want them to stay here. I want people coming over from Europe to spend their money here for our merchants. That was a big goal of mine. I didn't want them to jump on a bus and head west. So they've decided to do that. And this is their marketing video. And I think it's amazing when you were to look at our Melbourne.
Hi, I'm Stephanie and I've worked at TUI for 1 year.
And I'm Christoph and I've worked at TUI for 3 years.
Welcome to Melbourne, Florida. Let us show you what this exciting part of the USA has in store. Flight from the UK takes around 9 hours. You'll touch down at Melbourne Orlando International Airport, your gateway to Florida.
The currency is the US dollar. And if you need to exchange your money before you go, you can get great rates with TUI Travel Money.
When you think of Florida, you probably think of its world-famous theme parks. And yes, if roller coasters are your thing, Orlando is only about an hour's drive away. But there's so much more to uncover.
Away from the theme parks, you can take things a little slower on one of the Space Coast white sand beaches.
You can discover Florida's natural side too. Melbourne's home to miles of protected nature reserves and swamps, and loads of wildlife. You might spot wild dolphins along the coast, and wild dolphins and manatees in the Indian River. Not to mention alligators in the St. John's River, which is a great place to take an airboat ride. If that wasn't enough, Brevard 2 offers the perfect family day out. Kids can get up close and personal feeding the giraffes, and there's the world's only animal habitat that you can kayak through.
For souvenir shopping, downtown Melbourne is the place to go. It's got local shops selling everything from homemade olive oil to jewelry.
No trip to the Space Coast would be complete without a visit to the home of space travel, the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Here you can walk among the rockets in the Rocket Garden, surround yourself with stars in the IMAX theater, and get stuck into the interactive exhibits. There's so much to see and do, so make sure you come for at least a day. With all this to fit into your schedule, you'll want to set aside some time to tuck into some tasty food. Melbourne has you covered there too. That water is perfect for families. You can get creative and make your own pancakes right at your table, or grab a slice at FM Pizza in Melbourne's O'Galley Arts District.
Or for a sophisticated meal, head to Frigate's restaurant with stunning views over the water. Melbourne is on Florida's Space Coast. It's called the Sunshine State for good reason. Hot summers, mild winters, makes the weather perfect all year round. If you want the freedom to explore the Space Coast and make the most out of your holiday, we recommend renting a car with our FlightWise package.
Melbourne's ideally located among some of Florida's top attractions, so you're never too far away from your next adventure.
And don't forget, we also offer transfers from the airport to your hotel too. Ready to go? We can't wait to see you in Melbourne very soon.
So it was a Sunday night, the TUI executives come over and I had dinner with them and, you know, I thanked them for what they did here because the reality is, you know, Melbourne, Palm Bay, our Brevard County, our Space Coast is why you want to come here. And this is right here. This is about our community that we should be proud of. And I think this video does a great job to depict what our community is. So that will be seen by millions of Europeans, UK, multiple locations that TUI flies out of. So when they pick their destination, they come to Melbourne, Florida, and they spend their money here for our small businesses. So that was a great goal. That was a great achievement of ours. So moving on about a little bit on special events on 2022, 2023 now. This is kind of last year doing another firework. We do fireworks every year. My goal was have a resurgence of our parks. Growing up here all my life, I love baseball, I love softball, I love basketball. We have 2 golf courses, 2 that we have actually we're redoing both of them. We're in the process. It takes about 3 years. All new irrigation, all new greens, all new carts. You build it, they will come. And it is, I'm very proud of our staff, our city, to go in that direction to keep these golf courses and making them into something special. So we're about a little more than halfway or so done, and you'll see once they're done, all the grasses, the greens hadn't been done, I think 25, 30 years. So now everything will new grass, new green. Now, I'm not a grass guy, but I can tell you it's the best of the best. So and in Melbourne, I'm also proud that we support our veterans. Okay. I'm proud that the fact you'll walk downtown Melbourne and you go for a stroll, you'll see past and present veterans on our flagpoles. If anybody has a family member from Melbourne or something, make sure you submit that so we can get them up on a flagpole, and that's run every few months out of the year. So that's really nice for us to do that for the veterans. Infrastructure related projects. You couldn't do all this without having great infrastructure. And I will tell you right now, we have hundreds of millions of dollars that we've been invested in our infrastructure. Right now, the city's budget includes 62 million in capital improvements just in 2023. To us, infrastructure is number one. You got to have the roads. You know, if you ever were to hear, and I'll knock on some wood if it's around, you know, you never hear of a leak or a spill coming out of Melbourne, because we're constantly upgrading and improving our infrastructure. Some of the other projects we're doing right now is we're working with Coco. This is a project where we're adding a 16-inch water main to help serve Melbourne and Coco. You know, if there's an issue with us or an issue with them, we can work back and forth. It's a great collaboration between the cities. Right now, we're working on reverse osmosis water production facilities. Right now, we service about a dozen municipalities, West Melbourne, the beaches, some of the incorporated counties, and we make about 22 million gallons of water every day. And a lot of that water comes from St. John, Lake Washington. And anytime we have an algae bloom or something happens, we have fits on making water. So what we're working on right now is deep injection wells to pull the water that would be cleaner, less expensive to manufacture. We're working on that right now. And also we're working on the Grant Street Water Reclamation Facility. This will help reduce nitrogen phosphorus in the lagoon by when we clean the water, when you flush your commode, it's a better stage on treatment. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're doing in the city of Melbourne, including various septic to sewer projects, O'Galley Dam project. Right now we're on the Crane Creek Golf Course. And when I got in the office, the city of Melbourne only did less than a mile of road every year on resurfacing that. We're doing 4 times that now, minimal. So we don't want to get in a bad shape where our roads, you know, are not drivable. Because if you were to think about maybe $80,000-$90,000 to resurface a road, if it's got potholes, it's going to be 4 to 5 times that to redo it, because now you have to get into the base and stuff. So you got to stay on top of that because it saves money for your resident. And the last thing, I will toot our council's horn. I want to thank our council for having a 10-year low on millage. So if you look at our millage rate right now in the city of Melbourne, we're at a 10-year low right now, and I'm glad. With everything going up, we're trying to keep that down to make it better to buy a home and attract families. So we're going to go into questions. If we have questions, be glad to take questions. Come on up.
I've been wondering for quite a while why all of our high-rise development seems to be kind of generic, no frills, kind of I-95 motel looking stuff.
Okay, where would that be at?
How about the High Line? How about all over Vieira?
Well, Vieira is not Melbourne. I can't speak for Vieira. And
Okay.
also, like Mayor Medina said, that's property rights. If they want to come and build something, I will tell you this, when they built, like, for example, the Melby, their thought was to add art. You build it and then you come and you have art. And so that's what the developer wanted to build. So I hope that kind of answers your question. What
Well,
you're
it
what
would
you're seeing up
seem-
in Vieira is not Melbourne.
It
But-
would seem that there'd be some interest in architectural interest as we build our city.
I agree on that. And matter of fact, when I got on council back in 2016, the city wasn't too keen on food trucks, and they weren't keen on murals. Matter of fact, murals weren't really allowed in the city of Melbourne. And I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. And we changed that. So I would agree, you want to have that. So now you're seeing an expansion of the O'Galley Arts District. When you go down, we want a lively place. We want art. You go into our airport now, we have all the murals being done, local artists with, dolphins and manatees. So I agree that's something that we will definitely keep pushing. Another question?
Hello, hi, I'm Tari. Thank you, Mayor, for coming out today. I really am really excited about the airport, that we have more flights coming out of MLB, not having to drive to Orlando. That's absolutely amazing for someone who travels a lot to the West Coast. So really excited about those coming to Melbourne. I had a question in terms of our recreational parks. I know you said that Melbourne's doing a major upgrade for the facilities and the way that our city looks. I really want to speak about the recreational park on Lipscomb Park and also Brothers Park, those, and also the Riverview Park right off US 1. Are there any plans or recommendations that's coming in terms of improvements to those park and those facilities in that area by any chance?
It's kind of hard to understand.
For the recreational improvement and the parks I'm more so interested in are the park right here off US 1, the Riverview Park, the Brothers Park, and also Lipscomb Street Park. I know you said Melbourne's doing an overhaul to make the city more beautiful. Just wanted to see where those recreational parks included in making the city more beautiful.
Well, that's actually a great question. And a few years ago, I remember coming on the council and becoming mayor. Just in that short amount of time, all our swimming pools have been redone, all the liners. If you were to go to look at some of the parks like Lipscomb Street Park, it's one of the nicest parks. The basketball courts have all been repaved. If you look at the softball courts, they're being redone. All the bleachers, the dugouts are being redone. That takes time. It also takes funding and takes budgeting. We are getting grants, and we've been focusing on grants. We just finished up the one on Mosswood, the basketball court for the kids. And that
Where's
was
that
all, we went out and got a grant to get that done, to get all the courts done. So recently, and I like to play a lot of basketball, I like to talk trash, I'm that guy, but just the one on Swan Street, I had the professor come. I don't know if you know who the professor is. He's one of the best trick ball players in the world, was on And One many years ago. He came to Melbourne for a week. We got to go play with the kids. He's got about 22 million social media followers. And he came to Melbourne and he even said, this is really nice. What you guys are doing is incredible. And I'm proud of our park. We do have a long way to go, but I will tell you right now, where we were a few years ago to where we are now is night and day. and we'll continue to go forward on that.
Thank you so much. It was also good seeing you again here. We spoke, I think, about the Hemp Fest at the city council meeting in Melbourne. So it's good to see you also here at this association.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Mayor. I have a question for you about the Laguna Beach
Mhm.
Water Park area.
Yep.
It's a couple questions in
A
itself.
lot in your mind, yeah.
So where exactly is that located? Going to be located?
Okay, if you were to think of the airport, all
Yeah.
right? It would be technically to the south.
Okay.
Now, one thing we wanted to do with the airport is get more flights and become a nice airport, not too big, but enough where you can hop on any flight or go anywhere. That property is not contiguous to the airport, so it really had no use. So our staff said, hey, why don't we sell that property? It has no use technically. So we can put money in a fund, that money will stay there, and we can buy properties contiguous to the airport, because we are now getting calls for all these different manufacturing companies. Like, I mean, they're the Salt Falcon. I mean, we have a lot of them coming in, and we want to make sure we have properties contiguous to our runways. So that is just kind of to the south, and it's pretty big. It's a what I call an old landfill, because it was people dumped things there. But Laguna, Avalon Capital, they understand that, and they're going to remediate all that on their dime, not on taxpayer dime.
Okay, with that being said, since we have, Northrop Grumman and Alfrey Harris right there in that general area, and they all let out, and then you have Ellis, which is a 2-lane road, are they gonna do something with the
Yes,
infrastructure
that
to
is
make
actually- that's a
widening?
great
Because
question.
it's already crazy.
That is like the number one project on the TPO for this area, is that Ellis Road, because you go in a 4-lane, you go into
Yes.
2. I know if you look, we've been acquiring properties, I want to say we, the county, everybody, West Melbourne, we've been acquiring the properties to turn that into a 4-lane road. I spoke to a commissioner last night on that project. He was shaking his head, and I said, what? He goes, initially, a few years ago, when people didn't jump on getting it done, they were estimated about $60–70 million to get that done. Now it's 150. And I said, got to do something before it's 250. So, and I agree on that. So that is very important for the airport, for our airport staff, our city, even to get out to get to 95. Right? So, yeah, I mean, why would the state invest to make a nice interchange, and then you have that little area? So it is being addressed.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because if you're bringing in a water park and you already got those issues going on, it's just gonna bring more traffic to the area that's gonna cause a problem. So,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
So how you doing, sir?
Good, how are you? So my question is kind of a 2-part question that's related to infrastructure. We live in Melbourne, but my son goes to school beachside. My parents live in Indialantic. When you're traveling across the Melbourne Causeway into Melbourne, the East Strawbridge and US 1 intersection is kind of a mess.
Hey, yes. Yes. So that is actually DOT. And I know that prior, the city had sent a letter and said, look, why would you be coming across the causeway, and then there's 2 right lanes, you can't go straight in the middle lane. So they denied us, our staff, and I signed a letter, sent it, and now they're considering changing that. They need to. I would say whoever's in Tallahassee, and I know this is live, you need to get your butt down here and drive it, because you'll probably change it that day. It makes no sense, and I agree with you. And unfortunately, sometimes when you're dealing with Tallahassee, you get that I don't know what the engineer was on that day, if he was drinking or whatever, but apparently he didn't go to do a site visit. But yeah, I agree. Hopefully that can get resolved. But right now it's being considered. And that's not, there's also a couple other. I know right now they're doing some project work at O'Galley and US 1, and the way you got to do that jog, and that DOT that we're trying to work out, just like Brightline. And I will mention, if that's all right, if I could jump in, Brightline stop. We are pushing very hard in Melbourne, and I know you heard, well, Coco. I don't agree with that, and I'll tell you why. Actually, maybe 2 stops. but because the majority of the people in Brevard County is in Palm Bay or Melbourne. If you think about it, three quarters Vieira and Vieira, you were to take, if we had like a softball game between, the North and South Brevard, we'd kill them. We would, because we have like a lot of people to choose from. So what we're doing right now, we have floated the idea at the airport right off Apollo. We have about 70 acres that we're working to get a stop there for Melbourne and Palm Bay. We get that stop there. And also we can use that for the defense contractors to bring stuff in, plane parts or whatever. And it's right there at the Melbourne airport. So we're working on that as well. And I will say this, we have been down, one of our council members, we assigned him, he went down. We've got a good relationship with Brightline, that for what it's worth, I'm going to get that stopped. And it's funny because I am a joker sometimes, and I always tell, like I told the Cocoa mayor, you don't want to put a train in Cocoa, somebody might steal it. He didn't like that, but hey, I've got to push for Melbourne, okay? Melbourne and Palm Bay, okay? I apologize. I said I would try to stay even and kill. I apologize. I got 1 X, all right? So one strike. 3 strikes, I'm out of here. Next.
So
Go ahead, sir.
you must have read my mind, because my second question was about Brightline. And so they completed their first high-speed test 6 weeks ago through the county. And they're supposed to be going around 100, 110 miles an hour if you look at their chart. Are there any plans to upgrade the crossings? Because I have a 16-year-old.
Well,
I just
yeah,
started
it's
driving,
one
so
in
it
some
terrifies
places,
me.
but they're saying in downtown Melbourne and such, it would be 80, which is still fast.
Okay.
I personally want to see the train horn go away, because I don't know why they have to blow a train horn at 4 o'clock in the morning. I just look. A lot of my residents said, 5 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, just blowing on the horn. I know other cities like Boca, they've actually done an ordinance where it's a quiet-free zone. I'd like to see if we can hit that. But it is on Brightline, and if you look, they're supposedly making that safe. And I will tell you, a lot of people complain to the cities, Palm Bay and Melbourne. We had no say-so whatsoever when it come to Brightline. It was basically, they could have put it right through your front lawn. And unfortunately, we've actually had discussion on some of our neighborhoods, maybe talking about, making sure walls are built or something like that. Because if kids are outside playing, I used to play on the train track, put pennies on there, make big pennies. I used to do that. And I don't know if I'd want to do that now with Brightline, because I'm definitely not fast enough to get off the track.
Does the city have any say-so as far as upgrades to the crossings? I mean,
Well,
especially
that's their
right near
responsibility.
downtown.
That is their responsibility, and they're supposed to do that. I mean, they're definitely doing it. Just, we're going to see what the end result is, and we'll try to be on them after. Because we've had flooding issues in Melbourne relating to, right around Lake Washington, for some of the business owners, and it's just like, once they get done, I think they're going to have to come back and address quite a few issues.
Thank you.
Hello, I have a question about the Daily Bread. And to
Okay.
preface, we just did a huge cleanup in downtown Melbourne and we found the weirdest, grossest things, including a funny book called F is for Fugitive, which was hilarious. But I live over off of Sarno in Fountainhead subdivision, and we already have issues with theft. We've had gunshots in our neighborhood, and our neighborhood is not a bad neighborhood. We find needles, and it's right by Roy Allen School. Our neighborhood, there's a couple people that are in this room that actually live in the same neighborhood. We are very concerned if that goes out there. We won't be able to safely go to our Walmart. There's already dead bodies found at our Walmart. There's theft, there's robberies there. We are nervous about our children. We are nervous about walking our dogs at night. And we are nervous that that facility being there is going to move what downtown Melbourne is already experiencing closer to our homes.
Okay, that's a
So,
good question. And
yes,
I will
thank
tell you
you.
right now, when I started addressing the homelessness issue in Melbourne, many mayors said, why are you even touching that? That is not a winning issue. And I tell them I did not become mayor, okay, to not address issues. This is my hometown. I'm from Melbourne. And one thing about the daily bread, I would definitely believe in order for us to kind of, I don't know if you'll ever fix it, but to make it much better, that the daily bread, how they operate, I'm a fan of daily bread for helping people, but their model no longer works. And what I mean by that is they close the gates at 2 o'clock, they're done, and people are left on the sidewalk. They're trying to do homelessness outreach, they're trying to do drug addiction, they're trying to do all these things with the minimal staff and a location that may have worked back in the 80s. Now, one of the things they've done, we set aside $2.5 million in ARPA money because I believe we need some kind of a comprehensive facility. Somewhere that if you need help, you go, you stay there, you get your help, hopefully get back on, get a job, help do whatever you got to do to get better. We need that. And Daily Bread wants to be that organization. Now, the initial move was, well, let me back up. It's their move. It's not the city of Melbourne's move. It's their move. Their initial thought was in Palm Bay, which was really, in my opinion, it may have worked, but not that location. You can't have that next to residential areas. You can't. I think it proved in downtown Melbourne that it's not working, especially in the form that it's in now. Now, the move to Sarno is what they would like to do. I live right down the road there. And my concern with that is, and I'm going to say this out loud, it may not be popular, if they're not being good neighbors now, what makes them think they're going to be good neighbors there? And that's just the honest truth. I have had conversation that I will be bringing forward council that I want that cleaned up. I want the issue cleaned up, and I don't think everybody is being responsible that they need to be. And if I have to pull conditional use, I will do so because our residents, the people that live there, the people that buy houses there, they have rights too. And I believe that. And everybody in this room is held accountable. You leave here, you speed, you get a ticket. Everybody needs to be held accountable. So hopefully we can build something like, and I will tell you right now, it's not going to be on Sarno. Likely maybe 192 somewhere where when people go there, they're not able to just leave and go to the Walmart and just, and create havoc. So I understand that story went out because that was their thought of, their move.
Right.
I will say this too. My daughter's here and I always pick on my daughter and there she goes. She's like, oh God. I'm a hands-on guy. And you've known me for a while, correct?
Yeah.
I've never had a beard. And I have a beard for a reason. Because people don't know who I am when I'm somewhere in the evening hanging out, taking videos. Because when I bring this to council, I'm going to have enough. I'm just one person out of 7. But I always have facts. And I always have information that we make an informed decision. And be frank with you, some things have to change, especially for our downtown Melbourne. We are investing so much. We have, UK doing videos on how great Melbourne is. We have a lot of work to do, and it's time that we get it done. And I hope that answers your question.
It did. I have one little quick follow-up. Do you have a town hall yet scheduled for us to give our opinions, or is that not on the docket yet?
We have not, I've talked to Ms. Lamb, our city manager, and we're looking on where we can hold that. We haven't held that yet. Or we're going to, but we're still deciding how that's going to go because our issue is our council may want to be there, and because of sunshine issues, we may just do it there for a special meeting. We're still working the bugs out on that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay. Next question.
Hey, Mayor. So thinking about last year when we had the same kind of conference, if you will, you made a reference to the chip manufacturing for vehicles, and you went up to state leadership, and you had some kind of discussion meeting there. Is there any kind of update in that arena?
Okay, on manufacturing job?
Well, the chip manufacturing for vehicles, you mentioned you went up to meet up with state leadership to discuss possibly bringing, some of that down into our area.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of stuff going on with the airport, with having it in that area. Now, people don't realize, like on the airport property, we have over 20,000 people that work there every day. 20,000 on airport property, Alfrey Harris, Grumman, Embraer. We have a lot of stuff still coming. I don't have a specific update on you on that, but hopefully as this is unveiled, I can have more information, but I can tell you this, people want to come here. People want to live here. And I feel that our economy is going to go into a recession. So my goal as mayor is to make sure that we don't feel it as much here as opposed to other places in the country. But that is something that, yeah, I see it more coming.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, this one kind of goes along with the lady before me. Is there any talk about doing like a CRA or anything clean up like the Aurora Road area?
Say that again?
With the Aurora Road area, are you gonna do any kind of redevelopments, any talk on cleaning up that area?
A lot of the Aurora Road is county, not the city. Now, I own commercial property on Aurora, so I have a vested interest to see Aurora getting cleaned up but I do see that coming. Because we see a lot of it get cleaned up. Finally, you're getting a lot, there's still some that's got to be paved. But I see Aurora Road changes because over time, you see areas, change. I know there was a development right there on Lansing being put in. So yeah, hopefully that will, as the investors come, I think we'll see a change in Aurora. I hope so, even for my personal self. I like to see that cleaned up. Yeah. Any other questions? I know we kind of went long, but I want to say thanks to everybody in this room because we all together have a vested interest, all of us, for our community. And as I'm out there, I see a lot of the people here, they're in your community every day. They're volunteering. They're doing, without each and every one of us, we wouldn't be as special as we are. We wouldn't be Melbourne, the #1 city in the world. Hoorah!
Hoorah, hoorah. Thank you. As a proud Air Force veteran, I want to say thank you to my fellow brothers from the Coast Guard and Mayor Medina from the Marine Corps. Thank you so much for all your information for us today. And this meeting is adjourned.